Welcome back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. I'm Sent.
I'm Sil.
And today we're still talking about Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 13, The Ugly Truth. This is Kristen, and this is Mitch.
Yes.
It was so cringy, this episode. Like, it could have been all good. And Mitch, is he this dumb?
Yeah,
it's like he was so clueless.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get into this whole sister talk thing, but my goodness, if he could have just stuffed the whole thing of noodles that he was slurping in his mouth for the entirety of this episode, we all would have been better off, right? Dang, Mitch.
Yeah, he was messing up all the way around.
It was rough.
You know, I used to work in a prison system, and one time I dropped some handcuff keys into the cell of the prisoner or the inmate. And the person I was working with was like, boy, you just messing up all the way around. And that was Mitch tonight. He was messing up all the way around.
Was that your last day on that job?
Nope.
It should have been. And this should have been Mitch's last day in this marriage. Jesus.
Yep, they kept me, and just like Kristen's probably gonna keep old Mitch.
I don't know after today. Y'all, this episode opens up with Kristen sitting down with Mitch's sister-in-law. She's talking about her experience so far. She actually says that they're doing the best that they've been ever done.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. Mm-hmm. But, she seems pretty positive. Her outlook at the beginning of this episode is very positive. Mm-hmm. She's talking about how she struggles with his contrarianism. And the sister-in-law has some pretty good feedback for her. The gist of what I kind of took from her sister-in-law is like, hey, like he can't run the full show. Like what he's talking about, her and her family have made adjustments to in terms of like his environmentalism, things that they use, paper towels, I guess, or whatever. Maybe that was something they talked about later. But she's made adjustments, based upon what he said. But she said her first reaction was to be very defensive. But it's because of how Mitch comes off, right? Like, oh, you're not going to tell me I can't use my plastic. You know what I mean? You're going to have that knee-jerk reaction to someone who comes off very condescending, know-it-all, judgmental. So she's definitely understanding exactly where Kristen is coming from with this. So she tells her, like, there are adjustments that we have made, but not everything. So we still use diapers. And I mean, like, I almost slid off the couch when she said, like, he thought he was going to make people not use diapers. This man don't even have children. Like, how dare you tell me? We'll see when he has kids. If he thinks that it's okay to just be washing these like reusable Pampers all the time.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? Hey, I understand it's a landfill issue and the diapers. I trust me, I understand that, but I don't get it. And so for me, this whole thing is kind of like weird a little bit. It's as extreme as he is a bit weird for me. Mm-hmm. And so for Kristen and anybody who is not of that world, going into Mitch's world, they're going to have some issues. Yeah,
he was going to be almost impossible to match with anybody who didn't share his passion for environmentalism.
True.
So, I feel my heart. Kristen is like one of my favorite people on this season.
Yes. Throughout all of Married at First Sight, to be honest with
ever.
You. Because this girl is trying.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody come on the show and be so open, be so willing to try to change and accommodate. No one. I've never seen anyone come into this whole game the way that she did. Yeah. And so y'all messed her up with this. They the ones, the experts. They messed up all the way around on that one.
Yeah, they did. They do that a lot though. So this is not the first time.
Yeah.
So anyway, when they meet up with Dr. Pepper, Kristen is saying, hey, Mitch is an advocate for the environment. Mm-hmm. She's like checking with him, like, did I say that correctly? Yeah. Which is weird. I'm like, does he like check you on even how you say what he advocates for? My goodness.
Well, you know what? His energy just starting out and throughout that whole thing, it was way off. Yeah. It was way, I was thinking to myself, how many lemons did he suck on? before he sat there. I mean, he was all frowned up, and he actually really didn't want to communicate until the actual end of it, you know. And so it was something kind of going on.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it was. But, you know, Kristen was saying, hey, I want to make sure like that I can be comfortable, but she's also trying to be what he needs her to be. She even said that earlier with the sister-in-law. Like, I want to be his co-pilot in what he's trying to do. Yeah. So again, she's being Kristen. She's the person who's going to be his supporter, but she doesn't want to feel swallowed up in his dream so that she has to sacrifice everything of her own.
Very true. And she shouldn't have to.
No, she shouldn't. No. So she's talking about feeling guilty when she gets an iced latte, you know, and I didn't get it, right? Like, I'm like, what's wrong with whipped cream? Like, I'm like, what's the problem? So I guess what they use single-use plastic cups.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So I got it then, but I was like, what's wrong with it? I don't know. It was weird. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I noticed that you like to get lattes. But, you know, he also said, like, I'm not going to be upset if you forget to bring your reusable cup sometimes, like one time. And I'm like, gosh, so much grace you're giving, Mitch. You know, wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
So I get why she feels so uncomfortable, you know. He's like, and then he said something else that kind of really rubbed me wrong. Which was, you know, would it make me happy, you know, if you consider me and, you know, basically do these things that would make me proud.
Make him proud, yeah.
To have you as my wife. And I was like, oh, there we go. That foot is starting to go in the mouth. Yeah. And it didn't stop. I mean, by the time his foot, he had his knees in. He had everything in his mouth by the time the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't think he should have said that then. And she looked like she was a little taken aback by it.
She was. But Dr. Pepper kind of like helped with the big issue.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's why she kind of like let that one slide. So I'll let you go ahead and go with the big issue.
So, I mean, the big issue is still the pink elephant in the middle of the room, the flipping houses thing that she wants to do. And, you know, he kind of got into that with Dr. Pepper, how he feels about it. And he's like, I don't want to put like the full weight of these types of things on her, but there's a dark side to everything, right? Like no matter what you do, Mitch is going to be able to find some way that this either impacts the environment or it goes against social justice. Like there's just going to be something. And he even said it. He named like every profession. He's like, whether it's sculpting or real estate or this. And I'm like, my goodness, it must be tiresome to be Mitch, who has to find the fault in everything on earth.
Yes. Well, that's a person who is unhappy, to be honest with you. I mean, because you can't relax. He can't relax with anything. He can't be in the moment, not see any issues, just be happy with where he's at and who he's with. And so that's a borderline, something kind of like in him that's saying he's not happy with Mitch. Something's not happening that needs to happen with that. He's not finding some type of acceptance with himself. And so he's looking outwardly to everything else and not accepting everything else outside of him.
And he realizes that his personality type is one that's not going to be almost anyone's cup of tea. Yeah. Which he said, you know, like, can you deal with that? Like, are you going to be okay with somebody who has a constant reminder of like the impact that you're having on Earth, or you know, and that most people or many people wouldn't want to deal with someone like him. And I'm like, well, you hit that on the head, buddy.
No.
But and Kristen's response to that was very genuine. Like she said, I don't know, you know, and I get it. I get it fully. He's like, I'm the guy who like that dark side. It doesn't go away.
It doesn't.
There you have it. It like that is tough to swallow. But I think even if it stopped right there, Kristen would have still been okay. Oh, but he didn't stop there.
Wait, there's more.
Now, he did ask her, and this is why the Dr. Pepper session ended positively. He did ask her, like, if she had the same standards for decision day. Because if you remember at the beginning of the season, she was saying, especially after she felt rejected physically, she was saying, I need and I love you from you, or I need like physical intimacy. And he's like, well, I know we kind of put the brakes on sex because of you know, one of those theories that we came
Whatever
up
he
with.
said. Yeah.
And he hasn't said, or neither of them have said, I love you. So he's wanted to know, like, are you going to say no because we're not there yet? And she gives him such positive feedback. She's like, we're not where we've come so far. And, you know, I'm not in the place that I was back then. So she gives him every reason to believe that she's believing in this marriage. She's ready to go forward. They both leave there with like a real positive vibe, which was kind of surprising.
Yeah, it actually was. But that I have to contribute that to Dr. Pepper and Kristen again, because whenever Mitch is kind of like messing up, there's always somebody like there to kind of like rescue him and save him. And so with that, Kristen saved him. Dr. Pepper kind of like saved him. And so, but he also in the confessional was already foreshadowing how he was going to stick his foot in his mouth down the road. Yeah.
So when they sit together, as we talk about these noodles, child, oh my goodness, he blew my mind slurping them noodles like that. I don't know whose culture that is, if that's appropriate somewhere, but where I come from, that is just rude and disrespectful. Yeah. They sat together eating some, like, it looked like an Asian dish or something, and she's trying to talk to him about, like, she felt like things went well, and she was surprised at how they were able to resolve the issues with Dr. Pepper. And she also talked a little bit more about the flipping houses thing. And he's like, look, if there's a way to make good money that doesn't like go against his beliefs, then he's all for it. So we were like, what is that? Like, can you come up with a theory on that? Because nobody knows. Yeah. He makes it feel like you want me to live in squalor. Like he lives in squalor. And nobody wants to live like that, Mitch. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, you know what? The whole paper towel thing.
Yes, and that was the next thing. He's like, you know, there's a little bit more, like, he's been kind of laxed. He's been laxed, y'all. That's every red flag that exists. Yeah. If Mitch has been relaxed in this situation and not really pressing, like, his true, this is what Mitch does and this is what he stands up for, then literally nobody's going to deal with that. So he was saying he doesn't use paper towels, which Kristen is like, I mean, I guess, but I hope you don't expect me to be the only one washing them things if you're using cloth towels. So he didn't even answer that.
No, he didn't. I mean, because he wouldn't even clean out his own tub.
Right.
So what makes you think he's going to be in there washing
some towels,
napkins and things like that?
He said he washes them. He was like, I usually just use cloth towels and I wash them.
Mitch, stop lying. Tell the truth, Mitch. You know, we saw your place, man. You didn't even wash or clean off your stove or any of that. You got bugs crawling in your shower. Dude, man, get some, let the lady have paper towels. If she's gonna be in there having to deal with your bugs and your nastiness, let the lady have some paper towels. It'll be okay.
Please do. Yeah. Please do. Mm-hmm. So, this is where it gets crazy for me, y'all. This is where it takes a turn.
Come on.
Mitch
what did he do?
Has like a Zoom call with Kristen's sister. Her sister, right?
Yes.
Yeah, with Kristen's sister. And, you know, he just talks about with her. She asked him if he's gotten over his expectations not being met. You know, she's like, are you okay that you didn't marry my mom, right? Like,
for those who don't know, yeah, Mitch had a thing for Kristen's mom at the wedding. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So he said, like, his reaction was extreme to that because he was so nervous, you know, like everything was intense and he went into fight or flight mode and he probably was kind of pushing her away. That's how he makes it seem like, right, he's over the issue. But he did then start saying what he expected. And I'm like, this is not what you say to someone's sister. Yeah. You know, he's like, well, I thought I was going to get like, and he didn't say it like this, but he tried to deliver it nicely. He was like, kind of like, I was sort of expecting to probably give me a surfer girl. Like someone who doesn't wear makeup type of thing. Yeah. You know, just a hippie. Didn't he call her a hippie?
He called her hippie. He said hippie. And you know what? To kind of understand a little bit where he's coming from, I think he's right. I think he's self-aware enough to know that he's difficult.
Yeah.
And if they were going to match him, they were going to match him accordingly. And that they were going to match him with someone who is earthy, someone who is hippie.
Yeah.
And those type of things. And so when they matched him with Kristen, he's probably like, why would they do this? You know?
Yeah.
Why would they do why? Yeah. My question is, why did you do that?
Yeah,
you know?
They shouldn't have. But then again, like you said, he was attracted to her mom, so that kind of tosses that down the toilet.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he wanted advice from her sister about basically how to stop her from wearing makeup. You know, he's like, I think she's naturally beautiful, which of course any woman wants to hear that, right? Like, great. You don't think I have to do anything. You're still attracted to me.
Yes.
But you got to understand, we've gone down this path once where you made me feel unattractive. So now you having any comments, any commentary on my appearance, the way that I present is going to rub me, Kristen, the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know, it just is. And by extension, it's going to rub my sister the wrong way because she knows. They obviously talked about this because she had all the info. She knew what he did in the beginning. Yeah. So she already knows how her sister was, you know, and she's defensive of her. And she talks back, you know, she's like, hey, like, the makeup ain't for you, buddy. Basically, it's not all about you.
No.
You know, she wants to feel like she looks like she wants to look when she goes out. And I don't understand what his problem is because he said she takes off her makeup when they go to bed, right?
Yes.
That's kind of like the most important time when you're attracted to somebody, right? Like when y'all go to bed. So if she's taking her makeup off and that's when you find her the most attractive, great. Like, what is the problem? I don't understand. Right. So what he could have done is say, every time she takes her makeup off, compliment her. You know, be like, you know what? Your hair is beautiful when you wash it, you know, and it's freshly curly like that. Like, I love it, you know, this way. Or I think you look so gorgeous, like whatever it is, your little freckles. I don't know if she has freckles, but I'm just saying, like, whatever it shows when she doesn't have makeup on, compliment that. That would go so much further than you trying to like backdoor talk to her sister. What did you think her sister was going to do? Did you think this was really going to be a private conversation?
I have no idea. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish with that, but Mitch was just being Mitch.
That was stupid. I mean, it couldn't have been more dumb if he truly thought that her sister was not going to say something to her about what he had just said and probably spin it in the worst possible light because you could kind of read off of her. She don't really like Mitch, and who would? Who would like him for their sister? Mitch, that was some Mitchisms, as they were trying to say the other week. Stupid.
It made absolutely no sense. And you know what? You can't go into a situation like this and thinking that you're going to be changing people.
No.
And here's the thing. I think from a man point of view, I think most men do want their woman or their wife or whatever to look natural, you know, but that's not coinciding with how a woman wants to look. And so you got to let that wife look how she wants to look or needs to look to feel pretty. Yeah. And so just back up, Mitch. You can't control everything, man. And so like my wife said, if she's coming to bed with her hair the way you like it, and she's coming to bed with no makeup, and that's the time you two can engage in whatever you're about to engage in. So get over yourself, man. You cannot control every bit of another person, another human being. So stop.
So they finally move on to the group activity. I guess they like playing some volleyball or something. And then Kristen sits with like the worst possible person she could possibly sit with and starts talking about her issues.
Misery loves company.
Right. She's sitting with miserable Morgan. and she's stewing in it because she just talked to her sister. Yeah. And she can't believe it. She's probably really hurt because she felt like they were in a good place, only to have the rug snatched from underneath her. And like I said, I'm quite sure her sister delivered it to her in the worst possible light because she doesn't like Mitch for her, you know? So when they finally get to the point where the experts all come out to speak to them, Dr. Pepper's like, hey, Kristen, did something happen? She's like, hell yeah, something happened. You know, like...
I know you saw this on camera.
Right.
You saw what he did.
She brings up the sister conversation, and Dr. Pepper kind of cuts in with the, you know, I think that your husband is attracted to you, and, you know, all of these things. And she asks him, you know, are you very attracted to her? And he's like, I'm attracted to her. It was the worst possible delivery of that answer to me. And I'm like, okay, Mitch, like, are you trying to destroy your relationship at this point? Or like, what is going on?
Yeah, it did seem like that, you know. And again, he just can't take a win. No. I mean, everything was fine until he started messing it up. He was just messing up all the way around. And so...
Now, what was weird, before we even move on, because like, what was this whole weird gaslight situation that he did? Because everybody knows what he said, right? Yeah. So Alexis starts asking questions, like, she needs to be quiet. And I'm not even going to talk right now about how her and Justin got on my nerves, trying to like do that little side talk. Now they got all the insight. They know all the information. Oh, my husband could not be attracted to me. And girl, shut up. You're not attracted to your own husband. I don't want to hear that. But anyway, she asked him, you know, like, have you gotten over the issues of, you know, your attraction to her? And people are like reciting what he said. And he's like, did I say that? Yeah. I didn't say that. Yeah. I'm like, Mitch, stop lying. Like, just stop it right now. You're not even gaslighting well at this point. You just sound like an idiot.
He did. He didn't want to own up to that in the group.
And then he's like, well, I didn't know it was out there like that. I didn't want to make it seem like I was this controlling guy. If you felt like you had to hide it, then it probably was bad, right?
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. Again, no defense for him. Mitch, you're messing up.
Yeah. So Kristen has her moment to like have her meltdown when Dr. Pepper says, you know what, I think that you'll find that there's enough attraction. She's like, shut up. Let me stop you right there. I don't want to hear nothing about just enough attraction. You know, I want my husband to be like wowed, basically, when I walk in the room. I don't want to hear like I'm not attractive enough or anything. She is done for it. And she said that, you know, she has her blow up and she's like, I'm done. Yeah. Dr. Pepper's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I don't need an apology from you. I need an apology from him.
Yes.
And he's like, deer in the headlights. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because he did feel, he's like, well, I just feel so blindsided. And then she flips out about that too. Like, nobody is blindsided by this. But maybe he can be blindsided by it, right? Because Kristen doesn't often speak up. And especially not in like a very aggressive tone or manner. Mm-hmm. So this is probably his first time fully seeing this side of her. Yeah. And I think he is blindsided. I feel like he felt like he was set up by the experts and everybody around. Like everybody knew this was coming except him. Yeah. And so for that part, I did kind of feel for him. But I also kind of felt like he deserved it a little bit just for being that dumb.
Yes. I felt he deserved it the whole bit. I didn't feel sorry for one iota. And so all of that was self-inflicted. All of that was Mitch.
Yeah, I just
feel
engineered
like that whole thing.
In his head, he didn't think it was nearly as bad as what it was. I mean, he needs a reality check for sure. But he's like, oh, the way that this came back at me is regrettable. Well, yeah, it's regrettable for you. Because you thought you were somehow going to get away with asking her sister how to make her more attractive to you, you know, and that it wasn't going to come back to you. Yeah. So you're just regrettably stupid for thinking that was going to work.
Well, Mitch has his thing. He definitely has his hangups, but he's also, at times, he's a jerk.
He can be.
And so with that, him being a jerk, he's insensitive to his own wife.
But I also feel like he's pretty self-aware in terms of like he knows people may not like him. Mm-hmm. I don't actually think he was trying to be hurtful. I think he's just that stupid. Y'all let me know what you think. I mean, I think that he was clueless. Yeah. I think what he did was wrong. It was hurtful. It was regrettable in his own terms. Mm-hmm. There's any number of words I can use to describe what he did, but I don't actually feel like it was malicious, because I just feel like he's clueless at this point.
Well, how can you be so clueless about, here's my thing. Mitch wants to save the planet, right? But what about the people? Where is your concern for the people, especially your wife?
Yeah,
you're so sensitive about nuts and trail mix going into a dirty sack. You're so sensitive about diapers and Pampers. You're so sensitive about napkins and all of this one-use plastics. You're so sensitive about that. But where's your sensitivity for people?
This is it.
Your wife.
He just doesn't have any social skills. He doesn't. It did not even occur to him that this would have this type of an impact. Yeah. And it's sad and it's ridiculous, and Kristen doesn't deserve it. I'm not defending Mitch. I'm just saying I think he's dumb and not malicious. That's all I'm saying. But let me know what you guys think about that. We done ran this video way longer than we wanted to. So just give us your feedback. Drop your comments in the comment box, and like, share, subscribe.